Hey everybody, very good morning for our 12th day of reading challenge for 91 days, and it's a very awesome day today. So I see one of the comment on my previous video related to editing challenge, which is for 91 days, same. But the thing is that here, whatever I am today, that I am showing as it is today, in the sense I don't have any, like, most of the editing skill, recording skill, filming skill, all those things. But I started because I believe in me that after certain period of time, as usual I say, I'm gonna get good things if I'm repeating the things, or if I'm practicing the things, or I'm going with the process. So this is how, like, it will work. So I saw one of the comment from one person, and it felt me really, like, it made me really good, because not me, it felt me really good because when you see someone's comment who really wanted to, like, who is really like you in the sense they are in the situation where they are not understanding like what they have to do. They still want to do something, they are trying, but somewhere they are lagging. They are seeing like reels and youtubes. There are lots of content creator who is bombarding lots of content on us, and which is like literally good than whatever we are trying to do. We, in the sense, you and me, we are just trying to create a content, trying to grow on youtube, trying to do something which is very, like, starting. And when we start, at the time, what happens when we upload our content on youtube or instagram, there we don't get very much views, very much subscribers, because our content is very vanilla. We don't have very much things in it, even though we have good information. But to represent that information, we need to have editing, we need to have storytelling, we need to have, like, good video. So what I'm trying to say here basically is that, like, we are the people who just started the doing, and it's very vanilla. So it's okay, I'm very excited about these to grow. If you want to join, you can also join with me. Right now I'm doing reading challenge because eventually it will make me good in the sense, eventually it will make me feel, like, grow. Right now I'm getting distracted because of someone came outside of my room and they wanted to give me something. And one more thing, that my cold, as is always. So yeah, that's all about for this introduction. Like, whatever I felt, I did yesterday. Let me tell you about my yesterdays. It was very awesome day yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday, and most of the time, I was most of the time thinking about how I can grow, not on youtube or somewhere, but myself in the sense, I really want to grow. I want to see myself that, oh, right now I don't know storytelling, but in future I'll see myself that, oh man, how much storytelling I'm getting. So that is how I want to become, and I'm trying on that. I'm, like, every day thriving on the things, or throwing on the things. So that's the thing. So let's start our reading thing that we usually do. Not usually do, but let me see if streaming is on or not. It's on. So let me start. Yesterday I saw my videos as well related to reading challenge, and there were some of the things that I was seeing in me that I should improve or I should change. Likewise, there was one another comment that I shouldn't focus on the accent. So whoever did that, thank you very much, because it matters a lot, and I'll try to make it good as much as possible. I'll try to review my videos, I'll try to reflect on those, whatever I failed. I'll try to do most of the things likewise. So that's the thing. Let's start now. A positive stance of collaboration is essential to this work, or else the whole strategy will fall apart. This one reason Mindsight is such a potent tool. It teaches us to be curious, open, and accepting toward whatever arises in our minds. Learning to observe and label, to dialogue and negotiate, Sandy could now monitor her internal world and then modify her thoughts and behaviors. She could have an urge and choose not to turn it into an action. Sandy's symptoms diminished dramatically within 4 months, and by 6 months, they were essentially gone. She stopped therapy, although she elected to return for periodic visits, which have been fun for both of us. Now, 3 years later, Sandy has developed quite a deep wisdom about the nature of her mind and about being a person on the planet. She no longer worries about going near the edge of swimming pools. She is free to dive right in. She has told me that at times she still hears an intense thought in her head telling her something bad may happen, especially when she is stressed. When this happens and she feels pushed to start tapping, she engages in some soothing self talk. Thank you for worrying about me, Sam. But I can handle this, and then goes on her way without much difficulty. The checker has been transformed from an oppressive, oppressive prison guard into friendly internal sentry who watches out for her. Now, this is a resource she will carry with her, I hope and expect, for the rest of her life. Accepting uncertainty. As I made sure Sandy understood, there is nothing inherently wrong with our innate drive to scan for danger, to alert ourselves and others to things that can hurt us, and to do whatever we can to keep us ourselves safe. Certainly, after the death of Prince Junior, my own checker found a reason to become much more active, and practicing medicine is one continuous lesson in embracing the need to check. Yet, experience also teaches us the limits of our control. Even with our best efforts, accidents happen. Life is unpredictable. Temporal integration requires that we let go of the illusion of certainty so that we do what we can to be safe, but then realize our mind from irrational striving for omniscience and omnipotence. The beautiful serenity prayer used in Alcoholics Anonymous evokes this letting go process. May I have the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Serenity, courage, and wisdom are at the heart of temporal integration. A close friend, Angela, a woman who is like a sister to me, recently developed a rare and life-threatening medical condition. She was taken to a community hospital where her physician had admission privileges and where she was attended to by a host of specialists. When we spoke on the phone, I asked her if she would like me to find an academic researcher who might have specialized knowledge about her condition. She said, "Go ahead if that makes you better, make you feel better." Of course, I didn't think of it as about my feelings, but about her proper care, and in fact found a researcher who had recently moved to UCLA who specialized in the precise problem she faced. I called Angela back and told her that we could have her transferred to the university hospital for treatment. She refused. She said that she felt comfortable with her current medical team and that as a recovering alcoholic it was important to her to feel connected to familiar people she already trusted. She thanked me for the consultation and we hung up the phone. I wondered what to do. Angela sounded rational, but I knew that her condition might be clouding her thinking. However, if she were transferred and the surgery that seemed imminent didn't work, how would I feel? How much should I intrude? How much should I intrude, even with the intention of saving her life? I called her partner to discuss the benefit of going to a university hospital, and she told me she agreed with Angela. She should decide where she felt comfortable. Then I called Angela back to say I understood her decision and simply to ask her how she was doing. She sounded so strong, filled with the serenity, courage, and the wisdom of her years in AA. Fortunately, the surgery went well and Angela is doing fine now, but I recognized how strongly the threat of death brought up my drive to control. We want to believe health and youth can belong to us forever. We want to deny the reality of transience in our lives. Sometimes it's good to not to accept the first medical solution that's presented to us and seek out a second opinion that might offer a different diagnosis or treatment plan, but at other times, attempts at control are simply an effort to avoid the reality of uncertainty, serenity, courage, and wisdom. These mindful traits emerge when we acknowledge the mind's drive for certainty and permanence and then refocus our attention on accepting our place in the order of things. The comfort of our connections. I want to close this chapter by telling you about Tommy, a 12-year-old patient of mine who became obsessed with death. I had seen him 3 years earlier after the death of an uncle with whom he was close. At 9, Tommy was struggling with the first loss in his life, and it changed the way he saw the world. Acknowledging his pain, the fears he had had about losing his uncle, and then his grief after his uncle died had helped him through the crisis. Over the 6 month therapy and with the help of his parents, he came to feel secure in his family again, and he returned to playing with his friends. During the 3 years since his mother told me he had been a happy, seemingly carefree kid. But now Tommy had become convinced that he would die from some natural disaster before he turned 16. Even when he was not worrying about this calamity, he told me he was thinking all the time about what it would be like to grow old and die. Now, why are we even aware that we die? He asked, his eyes drilling into mine. I felt his anguish, and Tommy spontaneously brought up his uncle. After an early loss, children often revisit their grief in different ways at each developmental stage. Since he was now entering adolescence, I knew that Tommy's prefrontal changes were allowing him to think about his uncle's death in a larger, more abstract context and to connect it with his own mortality. I told Tommy how his brain was developing and what he was now acquiring, the prefrontal ability and the burden it brings to sense the passage of time and the reality of death. Given these changes in his brain and the new suffering caused by his incessant existential worries, I thought it was time to teach Tommy some mindfulness skills. A very welcome whoever is watching this live streaming. We read every day here in the morning. It's our 91 days challenge and it's 12th day. Very welcome to the live streaming. Thank you for watching. Let's read together and go together. It's all about growing oneself, so you can see, listen, and follow the things whatever we are doing. Like it's not that you have to follow the particular things, but you can design your own things and you can follow that. But you should know that will work or not. As I think about it, this particular thing that it will really work for me because every day I'm giving time to this challenge because I have committed on YouTube and people have seen, people have commented on the things. So I just want I just want that everybody like should be growing with me if it works for them as well. So yeah, let's grow together. That's awesome. And one more thing, sorry for my cold. So where I was reading, it was my second paragraph that I want to read. Chat rates too. I didn't get second chat. Very welcome, Fatima. Which book you reading? It's Mindsight. I have added it in comment, not a comment actually. It's in title as well as descriptions. You can listen if you are like able to listen it. Then yeah, might be my live streaming is going quite a bit slow, so you'll be able to hear me slowly. So sorry for that. I need to check something about that so that I can make it correct. First time I felt this thing. He responded well even to our first meditation. He said that he had never felt so peaceful. Now, this is incredible. I feel like nothing is wrong. Like everything is going to be okay. This is amazing. We continue to practice mindfulness meditation during the next few sessions. And I asked him to practice at home for about 10 minutes each morning. I had introduced him to the image of the ocean and to the peaceful place beneath the surface. I hoped that focusing on his breath would bring him to those tranquil inner depths where he could see his death worries as just brain waves on the surface of his mental sea, so that he could watch them float in and out of his awareness without being so frightened by them. I encouraged Tommy to simply notice his worries, his thoughts, his fears, and not judge them, not try to push them away or banish them from his awareness, but to accept them as just activities of his mind. So as you are seeing my chat, let me tell you one thing here. This book is literally related to brain, and there are lots of things that we face in our lives, so we can overcome those things using our brain. Like it's completely changeable. Like we can change our brain in the sense our habits and all those things. So we don't have to believe on our emotions in the sense there are some of the people who are experiencing same thing again and again, even if they don't want to have the same habits in their life in them, but even they are experiencing it again and again, so they can change it. But first they have to believe that they can change using their brain. Now we have ability to change ourselves in our brain. Like there are some of the neurons that we can change, there are some of the practices that we can follow. Using those practices we can literally change ourselves. That I am doing right now with you. If you are listening it, if you are following the things, if you are doing the things, then definitely you are also growing and you will also change. You can. Wonderful reading. Oh, that's amazing, thank you very much. Near the end of one session, Tommy told me he had made a discovery. I realized that if I am known by someone like my family or my friends, then when I won't be gone. Being known makes me feel relaxed. I don't worry. We sat quietly, reflecting together on that profound insight. His eyes widened, and he said, "If I'm known, I won't disappear. And when I die, I just become a part of everything." I nodded my head. I'll meditate on that, Tommy said. I'll meditate on that too, I said. And then our session ended. Tommy and I had become fellow travelers on this path of life. As we join with one another, parent and child, patient and therapist, student and teacher, reader and writer, we will find no end to our questions. Now there is only the ongoing challenge of remaining open to whatever may arise, pain and pleasure, confusion and clarity, step by step along our journey through time. So let me tell you one thing here. I want to create a community where everybody is learning, everybody is as they are, and they are trying to grow, not like if there is someone who really grown and they are teaching people that you have to follow these and that. It's not like that. Right now I want to create a community who is like me, who really wanted to grow, and they are just trying the things. They are not watching someone who is literally grown and they are just trying to do the same thing. It works, but somewhere we don't believe that, because we believe that if it is possible for us or not. It's possible for them, but what about us? Whatever they did, that worked for them, but what about us? It will work for us or not? There is some misbelief in our belief that we are going to achieve that or not. Let's say if you want to have better storytelling and you are watching videos of a person who knows very much storytelling, they can say that yes, they can influence a person just by telling their storytelling. So it worked for them, and they are giving us suggestions. But what about us? If it will work for us or not? That will really work for us or not? That is the thing. So I just want to create a community where everybody is trying like me, like I'm trying here, developing myself, growing myself. So that's the thing I really want to improve and create a whole community where everybody will be the same. They will also try the things, they will share it with each other, what they had did and all those things. Now after a certain period of time, I'll try to figure out where I can create this community in the sense where everybody knows each other. Knows in the sense, let's say if I'm learning editing skill, then there should be someone who is also learning editing skill, and I can share the things with that person. It will like grow more us. So that's the thing that I want to create on YouTube, because I don't think that there is someone who is creating like me or who is doing the things like me. Yeah, everybody is doing the challenges, they are growing, but it's not like that they are specifically saying that, oh, I'm like this or that. Like literally I'm showing myself vanilla, like vanilla in the sense whatever I am today. Like I don't know exactly how to say with people. Exactly means correct storytelling, I can say. So I'm just trying to make it as much as possible so that people also get inspired and will do the same thing. Epi Epilogue. Oh, we almost like completed these, but let's see. Epilogue, widening the circle, expanding the self, what it is. A very welcome everybody whoever is watching or being in live streaming. We read here every day for 91 days. It's a challenge. You can also be here every day. You can listen, you can read. Now, as per your preference, if you like to read, you can read. If you like to listen, you can listen. That depends on your preference. So, very welcome to live streaming. In 1950, Albert Einstein received a letter from a rabbi who had lost one of his two daughters to an accidental death. What wisdom could he offer? The rabbi asked to help his remaining daughter as she mourned her sister. Here is what Einstein replied: a human being is a part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of comparison to embrace all living creature and the whole of nature in its beauty. Nobody is able to achieve this completely, but the striving for such achievement is in itself a part of the liberation and a foundation for inner security. Breathing life across the domains of integration. I initially began to work with people, young and old, within a framework of promoting the 8 domains of integration, coming to therapy with patterns of rigidity or of chaos in their lives. The individual or couple, and I would explore how they would become stuck and identify areas in which differentiation or linkage was blocked. As our work together progressed, as those domains were strengthened, and the triangle of well-being was stabilized, I often observed the gradual emergence of a new sense of wholeness. In various ways, my patients expressed their growing awareness of being a part of a larger whole, of inhabiting a bigger world than before they started the work. In direct opposition to the common concern that psychotherapy and contemplations are self-indulgent activities. Clarifying Mindsight's lens actually led to a very different state than self-involved navel gazing or inward preoccupation. Instead, it seemed that the Mindsight work led directly to a deep sense of wanting to give back to others, to expanding the focus of concern and to the identification of larger set of cause. This sense of being a part of a whole beyond their immediate relationship and the social worlds led directly to the wider circle of compassion of which Einstein wrote. This happened in small ways as when 12-year-old Tommy wrestled with his worries about death. As we worked together on what I have called temporal integration, Tommy discovered for himself that feeling connected to others lessened his feelings of dread and isolation, so that when I die, I just become a part of everything. It happened in larger ways with Matthew, the lonely man with the revolving door of frustrating romances. As he worked through his states of shame and isolation, Matthew came to feel a desire to get involved with something beyond himself, and he found that working to heal the bay that borders our community filled him with purpose and passion. He could mobilize his business skills and connections to preserve our natural resources, not only in ways that benefited people alive alive now whom he didn't know, but to support future generations, others such as Peter and Denise, who became advocates for each other through interpersonal integration, were moved to donate charities that provided support to families devastated by illness. Certainly, this had meaning for them personally, given their tragic childhood losses, but their immediate circle of concern gave way to broader sense of commitment. I didn't then have a simple way to describe this observation that as people become more integrated in the first 8 domains, their sense of identity expanded. The boundaries of self become wide open. I choose the term transpiration to cannot connote to connote the way we across spire breathe, how we breathe across the 8 domains of integration. Transpiration is how we resolve our sometimes confining sense of an I and become a part of an expanded identity, a we larger than even our interpersonal relationships. It is how we integrate integration. It's important to note that achieving this cross breathing way of being did not require anything special beyond developing the basic reflective skills of mindsight. The people who arrived at transpirational integration started from very different places and were motivated to develop the domains of integration for many different reasons. Some were faced with an immediate challenge, a conflict urgently needing resolution. Others were dealing with the pain of an unresolved loss from long ago, an unhealed trauma or defeat. Now, there was no singular path that seemed necessary beyond coming to a deeper, reflective sense of the mind, of seeing the inner world with more acuity and promoting integration across these various domains. For as long as we have had records of them, contemplative practices have described a similar sense of the true interconnectedness of all things. But for much of our history as a species, and perhaps particularly in modern society, we have often seen ourselves as isolated beings, solo actors on a small stage with a few select fellow thespians thespians. Other theaters are not important and perhaps even competitive with our performance. Now, why would we be so confined in how we define ourselves? I'm looking at my laptop again and again because I'm seeing if is there anyone who is commenting or chatting here, just just to reply them and just seeing it. So you feel it's like uncomfortable for you, you can let me know. I'll continually read, and after reading a certain paragraphs, let's say one or two, I'll see the chats and will reply over here, because seeing it again and again here, it's not seems good. So I'll try not to look immediately, but we'll try to read as much as possible. And we'll see the reply chats here. Today we can actually track scientifically the neural dimensions of our narrow definitions of self. When our resonance circuits are engaged, we can feel another's feelings and create a cortical imprint that lets us understand what may be going on in the other's mind, because it is like ours, and our mind and our brain turn on our mindsight mechanism. We uncap our inner lens and take a deep look into the face of the other to see the mind that rests beneath the visage. But if we cannot identify with someone else, those resonance circuits shut off. We see other as objects, as them, rather than us. We literally do not activate the very circuits we need in order to see another person as having an internal mental life. This shutting off circuits of compassion may be one explanation for our violent history as a species. Without mindsight, people become objects rather than subjects themselves. With minds like ours, worthy of respecting and even knowing, under threat, we may distort what we see in others, project our own fears onto their intentions, and imagine that they will harm us. We may also pursue malevolence where none exists, and then retreat to the flight freeze survival reaction of threatened state of mind. If the threatened state creates within us a fight response, then we get the object out of our way however possible. Feeling threatened takes over our perception. Sometimes this is to our benefit, as when I saw that snake just steps ahead of my son on a mountain trail and later became aware of feeling fear. But at other times, the same brain mechanism can dramatically affect the way we behave toward others. Imagine studies have demonstrated that when we are shown photographs suggesting danger and threats such as a gun pointing at us or a close-up of fatal car accident. Our brain go on a high alert even when the images are shown so rapidly that we cannot detect them consciously. This subliminal displays affect our mental states and our behavior. Such modality salience. Studies have shown repeatedly that with people like us, we become kinder and extend ourselves more to care for their welfare. They are seen as members of our clan, fellow inhabitants of our cave, and we protect them from the harm we have been primed subliminally to fear. If, on the other hand, the people are not like us, we are more likely to treat them with disdain and disregard, as if they were potential enemies and perpetrators of harm. We banish them more easily, create more intense punishments for any wrongdoing, and judge them more harshly. Without awareness of these mechanisms of the mind that classify like me and not like me, during moments of threat, our humanity is at risk. In our global instant information, high-tech world, not having the mindset to disengage these rapid cortically driven alarms can have dire consequences. When we become survival driven, we lose any or all of the nine middle prefrontal functions that Barbara lost when she lost her soul. And we are primed to travel down a low road. When we are reactive, we revert to primitive behaviors without flexibility or compassion. We act impulsively, lose the ability to balance our emotions, and fail to exert more moral reasoning. Both individual behavior and public policy can be shaped by these examined autopilot neural responses. Instead of being guided by understanding and compassionate concerns, even for those who threaten us, our mind's lightless responses is to become hostile and inflexible, and to lose our moral compass. Oh, expanding identity. The study of positive psychology suggests that being involved in something larger than a personal self creates a sense of meaning and well-being, and as an essential part of the experience of happiness. When we spend money on others, for example, we feel more content than when we spend money on ourselves. This is a kind of well-being rooted in meaning, connection, and equanimity called eudaimonia by the ancient Greeks, and in modern times perhaps called inner or true happiness. Ironically, being personally happy requires that we greatly expand our narrowly defined individual preoccupations. We are built to be a we and enter a more fulfilling state, perhaps a more natural way of being. When we connect in meaningful ways with others, a living organism links its differentiated parts, and without this integration, it suffers and dies. Science has shown that well-being and true happiness come from defining ourselves as a part of an interconnected whole, connecting with others and with ourselves in authentic ways that break down the isolative boundaries of a separate self. Such connections can be created through developing the clear lens of mindsight, which enables us to track energy and information flow within and among us. Cultivating our capacity to sense energy and information flow helps us expand the self beyond the boundaries of our body and reveals the fundamental truth that we are indeed a part of an interconnected world. Now, our living organism is the extended community of living beings. Now, this proposal is no easy task. Dissolving fixed mental perceptions created along the brain's firing patterns and reinforced rationally within our cultural practices is no simple accomplishment. Our relationships ingrain our early perceptual patterns, not partners, deepening the ways we come to see the world and believe our inner narrative. Without an internal education that teaches us to pause and reflect, we may tend to live on automatic and succumb to these cultural and cortical influences that push us toward isolation. We need to examine directly the ways in which our cortical processes create top-down influences from prior experience that could our vision that cloud our vision. Part of our challenge in achieving well-being in ourselves and perhaps in our world is to develop enough mindsight to clear us of this restrictive definition of ourselves so that we can grow toward higher degrees of integration within our individual and collective lives. Seeing clearly, if the mind creates automatic constraints on our sense of self so that we tend to see ourselves as separate from one another, how do we take the steps as individuals and as a society to widen our circles of compassion and dissolve these automatic top-down processes? The effective strategy seems to be to help one another see the mind clearly. Seeing the mind clearly not only catalyzes the various dimensions of integration as it promotes physical, psychological, and interpersonal well-being. It also helps us dissolve the optical delusion of our separateness. We develop more compassion for ourselves and our loved ones, but we also widen our circle of compassion to include other aspects of the world beyond our immediate concerns. These transpirational awareness gives us a sense of being a fundamental part of a larger world. Now, physical separations and differences become less paramount as we see that our actions have an impact on the interconnected network of living creatures within which we are just a part. Time separations and distances also become less defining as we see ourselves as a fundamental link between what came before and what will exist long after these bodies are gone from this life. This is the sense of transpiration. With integration, we see ourselves with an expanded identity when we embrace the reality of this interconnection, being considerate and concerned with the larger world becomes a fundamental shift in our way of living. When we sense the importance of our caring for one another and the planet, we can see that beyond creating meaning and happiness, transpiration and the integration from which it grows may be essential for our survival. Physically and genetically, our brains may not have evolved much in the last 40,000 years. But our minds have. A baby born today would be much the same as baby born tens of thousands of years ago. But if we were able to compare the integrate neural structure of an adult brain in today's modern society with that of an adult brain from 40,000 years ago, we would find huge differences with markedly contrasting culturally shaped experiences. The mature brain in each environment would have responded to the energy and information flow with strikingly different neural connections. The mind uses the brain to create itself. As patterns of energy and information flow are passed among people within a culture and across a generation, it is the mind that is shaping brain growth within our evolving human societies. The good news about this perspective from science is that we can use an intentional attitude in our modern lives to actually change the course of cultural evolution in a positive direction, cultivating mindsight in ourselves and in one another. We can nurture this inner knowing in our children and make it a way of being in the world. We can choose to advance the nature of the mind for the benefit of each of us now and for future generations who will walk this earth, breathe this air, and live this life we call being human. Acknowledgement. So we are about to end our Mindsight book. That's very awesome. We did it, and yep, if you are new here to watching, then you can see the first, it's I guess second day of challenge where I started reading Mindsight book. It's a very awesome book. In future I'm going to read it again because it will make me more efficient in thinking. It will make more efficient in having conversation with you guys, as well as if you are going to read it again, might be you will feel more than feel and understand than before. So that's the thing. We are about to end, and I guess I'm gonna end this live streaming here because now I need to start the next book, or how should I do? Because it's almost 1 hour. Yeah, reading these acknowledgements will be like completing these 1 hour almost. So that's amazing. I need to think about the next. We can read any random book for now for 1 hour, and from tomorrow I'll be reading a very new book, which will be. I'll find out what book we need to read. We are going to read Why We Sleep. Let's read that book, or you can comment if you are watching. You are like watching today, then yeah, you can comment out and let me know which book you would like to read with me. Now I'll give some options. From that options you can choose, because I have just chosen to read brand related books. So let's read those books for now. Afterward we are going to read something that you'd like to listen from me. So let me see the acknowledgement. In acknowledgement, there is nothing much. It is just author is grateful for the things that while writing this book, or having this book, what who helped him, or what things came into his ways and it made him do these, and related to all those things. Let me check how much is this. It's like appendix. Yeah, it's almost done. So usually I don't prefer to read acknowledgement because there is nothing, not nothing, but there is not most of the things in it. So let me read like acknowledgement here itself. Now, this project has been developing over my entire life, and many people have shared the journey leading to the ideas for this book. Now, from the first days of medical school, my patients have served as a primary motivation for forming the principles underlying Mindsight. It has been a profound privilege to be invited into their lives, to share the pain and confusion of their struggles, the clarity and joy of their triumphs, through the opportunity to be a part of their efforts to understand and change their lives, to travel with them on an expedition to transform anguish and despair into resilience and empowerment. I have been given insight both personally and professionally in ways I could never have dreamed possible. These insights are the direct source of motivation to write this book, and it is the collected wisdom of my patient's struggles that has given voice to the notion of Mindsight. While reading this paragraph, I was having something in my mind. Like, I really want to help people by directly giving something to them in the sense I don't want to give something in the sense like money or something. I want to provide them something that will make them make money. Eventually money is very important and everybody is working for money, so I really want to create something that will make people money. I will give them a chance at least for like there are people who really want to grow, they want to have some chances, they literally want to. So I would like to have this in future. I'll definitely do. I do believe on myself. This is my literally very strong belief in me that I can do the things, and definitely after a certain period of time I'll do this thing. I'll try creating something that will provide people to grow, to earn money, to do likewise. So that is the thing that I really wanted to say for now, because I felt from inside like I got motivated from one person. Like from that person I literally feel that everybody wants to grow, but somewhere somehow they are getting stuck. They are not getting out of that place. There are lots of things that matters for them, that for particular period of time period, or I can say like it's all about like your emotions, your situations, and from your emotions and situations these people are not getting out of it. So I need to, or I want to help those people who really want to grow in their life. They literally want to strive on the things, they want to have hard work, they want to literally be awake, they want to do anything for that, but somehow they are getting stuck. I want to take out of them from that place. I am deeply appreciative of my teachers for their guidance during my clinical and research training in psychiatry. Dr. Jean Beresin, Leston Heavens, David Herzog, and the late Tom Whitfield in medical school. Dr. Gordon Strauss, Joel Yeager, and the late Denny Cantwell, sorry, Robert Stowler in residency, and doctors Robert Bozor, Chris Haneke, Eric. Sometime, like in acknowledgement, you'll find that author will give the name of people who is like who has helped him while writing this book. So this is the thing. Whatever we are having here, yeah, I'll make it better. I do know what how when speaking I was not getting the things or something. And I'm seeing again and again on my concurrent viewers, my chats, because let's say if someone is like saying something, then I should be able to see them. So that is the thing I'm doing. So very welcome to the live streaming. I thank my clinical college colleagues for their support over the 30 years since I began my medical training. Students and colleagues at the Mindsight Institute have also been a wonderful source of lively discussion as the field of interpersonal neurobiology has been emerging. Many read earlier versions of these manuscripts, and I thank them for their suggestions and questions over the years. Especially helpful have been Bonnie Bednock. Again, here there are lots of people name like Teal, lots for their insightful immersion in the manuscripts. Final editing, Brian McLendon. Like I like to skip these because it is just a name, and I do believe in time as well. I'm literally seeing again and again on my laptop. I need to do something about it. Hi, very welcome to the live streaming again, where we read every day for 2 hours on live streaming, and it's my 91 days challenge. Besides that, I perform some other challenges. Like right now, I'm performing one more another challenge, which is editing skill developing. Like I want to master, not a master at least. I want to have some skills related to editing, so I'm doing that. There are 2 likes. That's awesome. Whoever likes, thank you for liking it. The Global Association for Interpersonal Neurobiology Studies has been a great gathering of like-minded people who share this notion that seeing the mind can unsuffer individual and collective lives. I first began my career in the academic world, and I am happy as a clinician to keep one foot planted in scientific pursuits at the foundation for Psychocultural Research, UCLA, Center for Culture, Brain and Development, CBD, and at the Mindful Awareness Research Center. The individuals associated with those two university centers provide the intellectual grounding that a synthesizer working in the subjective world of psychotherapy needs to continue to be challenged and stimulated to think rigorously. I thank you, Smalley, Diana, Winston, and so on. Their name again, and I also want to thank all the writers who have contributed to the interpersonal neurobiology series, where we try to bridge research, clinical practice, and education, especially Lau Gozzoliano, and who have also been friends and colleagues since the first day of this effort to synthesize science and psychotherapy. 6 views, that's awesome. Now, at the Lifespan Learning Institute, I am grateful to Maureen, Solomon, and Bonnie Goodstein for their never-ending support and camaraderie. Now, I would also like to express my gratitude to the Atlas, ATS, and the Kirtland Family Foundation for their support. I'm trying to concentrate completely here. Like as I told you, there are most of the things that happens in our brain, and if we are habitual of doing that, thing or that habit again and again, we do that. There is one more thing that is coming into my mind, that I want to improve my communication. I don't have to say the things that really don't matter. So I'm just trying that and getting it good. That's the thing. I like it. I like the challenge. I like 91 days. It's very awesome. Sometimes I'm very excited about things, like I have so much energy when I speak with people. Like it's natural. I didn't natural, or like earlier I was, oh, I'm reading here, a reading challenge, so I need to focus on that. I don't have to go in my what I did and all those things. But right now, whatever the thing is here is completely related to reading. And again, thank you very much if you're watching this live streaming. Let me change the icon. Oh man, my charging is about to end. Like I saw that my books laptop's charging was very less. Like, and if time goes, then it will be like, oh, what? It's 22% and it will go. So it's okay. So let's start reading. Colleagues and friends have been instrumental in my personal and intellectual growth and have furnished invaluable reflection on this work as it unfolded. Jean Ackerman, Dan Goldman, John Kabat-Zinn, Jack Cornfield, Regina Pally, and Rich Simon have become siblings in my heart, and I thank them for their friendship and support at many a challenging moment. I also want to remember my dear friend and colleague John Donohue, who left this world too soon, but whose magnificent books and a love of life continue to inspire me every day. My two children have given me invaluable support. Their good humor and lively debates keep me on my toes and teaches me never to take anything for granted. As those with adolescents may know, it is not possible to become complacent with who you are when confronted with teenage honesty. My life, Goroline Welch, is a fountain of wisdom and encouragement. Encouragement and an inspiration in my life. Caroline read every version of the manuscript as it evolved, and her contribution have been an essential part of the book's creation. I am profoundly grateful for our relationship. I would like to give a deep bow of thanks to my literary agent and friend, Doug Abrams, who shares a dedication to bringing ideas into the world that one page at a time may move it even one small step in a positive direction. My own life has been enhanced because of our connection. When we set out on this project, we were looking for a publisher who might share its vision. Finding Tony Bergman at Bentham was a dream come true. Over the years, since we first met, Tony has kept up her reputation as a brilliant and supportive award-winning publisher. I have been fortunate that she was not only interested in acquiring this project, she also wanted to be the hands-on editor for it. Our relationship grew as we pored over the pages of each chapter, and I have come to learn firsthand that she is not only keenly intelligent and wizard with words, she is also fun and funny. I appreciate her dedication to this project and have marveled at her capacity to use Mindsight to keep the reader's experience in focus as we wrestled with the details of science and the flow of the narratives. Joining this project as the anchor editor, Beth Rashbaum has also been extremely helpful and a great asset to our team. Her enthusiasm, insightful suggestions, and broad perspective enabled the addition of many vital final touches. I cannot thank Beth, Tony, and Doug enough for being companion on this journey to bring Mindsight to life. There is one more thing, that my vision is literally very big in the sense I really want to do something for nations. Like I personally feel it, I'm just sharing with you, but let's see how it goes. I'm following the things what I believe on, the things that will can make another people like think like me. I really want to have like this, so that we should everybody grow, isn't it? Thank you very much whoever is watching right now. Now we have to go to our different book. Let's see what we can read for now, and we'll start tomorrow with a new book. I will let you know which book we are going to read. As we have decided, not decided actually, like I'm going to read a book, but the next book you can decide, like, because if I'm going to wait for responses, then it could take time, because there were no many people who are watching live streaming or reading with me, but after a certain period of time people are going to watch, and instead of doing 91 days challenge, I'm going to do it more than that. Like I can do it for 160 days, 1 year, or might be forever if you like to. Like I don't know. It depends on the things how it goes, because even like eventually I'm going to read every day. This is the thing that I want to do, because reading helps people grow as well as think more efficiently. So that's why I like to read books, and if I'm taking it on live streaming, then also it's fine. Like I'm utilizing both of them, so it's okay. So let me know whatever book you need to like you would like to read in next reading after this reading, and just go to the brain related book, because it will help us, and definitely we are going to read the books. Let me check the book now, what book we can read. Whatever the book I am having right now, completely it's related to brains. So I'm going to read book now. I need to check, William, what book I can read. Mm. Let's try reading this book. I need to install these. Hey, very welcome to my live streaming where we read every day for 2 hours. Right now, I have just finished one of the book, Mindsight, on our live streaming. That was very awesome. Mm, 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 mm. The happiness hypothesis. I'm just gonna start reading this introduction, and because as we have to complete for 2 hours, and from tomorrow, we are going to read why we sleep, that I'm going to add in it. But first of all, write me mark this complete and remove from continue, so that on my home page you'll be able to see that whatever I'm reading currently, that I'll be reading. So let me go on my library and let me open the happiness hypothesis, and we are going to start reading this book. It's awesome. Let me check its content. For content, it's not loading. Why it is not loading? I guess it don't have that kind of structure, so that is why it is not getting load. So it's okay. We are going to see from where we can start. This is the thing that we are having here. Mm, 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 mm. I guess it don't have any chapters and all those things. I just wanted to read the introduction. Mental illusion. Yeah, it don't have. I need to find some other book. Let's see. Hard Why Happiness. we are just completing our 2 hour. That's the thing, as we have committed to our 2 hour live streaming and reading. So let's find some books so that we can read. But we are going to read Why We Sleep. It's very awesome book. As you can see, let me show you its content, what we have here. Like, we have lots of content here, and we are going to read from tomorrow Why We Sleep, and let's see what we learn from that. And after a certain period of time, might be I'll do, like, I'll start reading with explaining, or have a separate session where I'm going to only explain the things that I'm going to do. But let's see how it goes. But for now, at least for 30 days, I'm going to read only, even though I don't understand the things. Let's say if I'm reading, while reading, what happens, see, okay, I'm not gonna get this filler words, but the thing is that what happens when I read, at the time some thoughts come into my mind, and the focus goes toward that. But I'm realizing now that while reading, I'm trying to focus more on reading, like I'm getting more the things from these itself. Let me go back to our some other reading. I was about to read this. Let's see if we have any introduction in it. Yes, we have introduction. So we are going to read introduction for this book, which is, the book name is Hardwired Happiness. So let's start reading. Very welcome whoever is watching, and let's grow together, let's learn together, and let's build something very useful in India. Let's show, isn't it? Not in India, actually, in the world. My leg got stuck. Sorry for that. And let me read now. Introduction of hardwiring happiness, actually, not a hardwire happiness. So again, very welcome whoever is watching live streaming. Thank you very much for joining, and let's together. I'll be completely focusing on introduction now, as I already told that I'm going to see after completing some of the paragraph, then only I'm going to watch toward live streaming. You can comment or chat here if you are new, so that I can come to know that someone is joining, and it will basically motivate me. And if I get motivated, we'll try to do something useful for everybody. That's the eventual goal. If you are like me and many people, you go through each day zipping from one thing to another, but along the way, when is the last time you stopped for 10 seconds to feel and take in one of the positive moments that happen even the most hectic day? If you don't take those extra seconds to enjoy and stay with the experience, it passes through you like wind through the trees, momentarily pleasant but with no lasting value. Yeah, it's the fact, actually. Like, let's say, if you are experiencing something, and if you didn't experience that, and then it will pass like wind goes into the, like wind passes through trees. This book is about one simple thing: the hidden power of everyday positive experiences to change your brain, and therefore your life for the better. Now, I show you how to turn good moments into great brain, full of confidence, ease, comfort, self-worth, and feeling cared about. These are not $1 million moments. They are simply the cozy feeling of favorite sweater, pleasure in a cup of coffee, warmth from a friend, satisfaction after finishing a task, or love from your mate. A few times a day, a dozen seconds at a time, you'll learn how to take in the good, which will naturally grow more joy, calm, and strength inside you. But this practice and the science behind it are neither positive thinking nor another program for manufacturing positive experiences, both of which are usually vested on the brain. Now, this is about transforming fleeting experiences into lasting improvements in your neural network. The inner strengths we need for well-being, coping, and success are built from brain structure. But to help our ancestors survive, the brain evolved a negativity bias that makes it like a velcro for bad experiences, but Teflon for good ones. To solve this problem and build inner strengths into your brain, you will learn which positive experiences can meet your three essential needs for safety, satisfaction, and connection. As you build up inner peace, contentment, and love, you won't need to chase after pleasant events or struggle with unpleasant ones. You'll increasingly enjoy a sense of wellness that's unconditional, not based on external conditions. Your brain is the most important organ in your body, and what happens in it determines what you think and feel, say and do. Many studies show that your experiences are continually changing your brain in one way or another. This book is about getting good at changing your brain for the better. The brain is amazing, and you will learn a lot about it. In the first three chapters, I'll give you an overview of how your brain works, why you need to take charge of it, and how you can come home to your wonderful deep nature. And then in the rest of the book, I'll show you many effective ways to take in the good and become really skillful at this practice. You won't need a background in neuroscience or psychology to understand these ideas. I have distilled them down to four simple steps with the acronym HEAL. Have a positive experience, enrich it, absorb it, link positive negative material so that positive soothes and even replaces negative. The fourth step is optional. We will explore each step thoroughly and you will learn many practical down to earth ways right in the middle of a busy day to notice or create positive experiences and then weave them into your mind, your brain, and your life. At the end of each chapter, there is a section called Taking It In that summarizes the key points. And if you want to learn more about the science I have drawn upon or read in my occasional side comments, see the reference notes and biography in the back of the book. I stumbled on how to take in the good while still in college, and it changed my life. Now, 40 years later, Now, 40 years later, in my work as a neuropsychologist, I have tried to develop this practice in depth. I have taught it to thousands of people, and many of them have sent me stories about how it's changed their lives as well. Now, you will see some of these stories in italics in the chapters to come. I am delighted to be able to share this powerful practice with you. And if you would like to learn more about it, please see the freely offered resources at www.rickhansen.net. Now, as a father, a husband, a psychologist, meditation teacher, and business consultant, I have learned that it's what we actually do both inside the mind and out in the world that makes the most difference. Therefore, you will see experiential methods for converting passing mental states into enduring neural structure. Adapt my suggestions to your own needs. I hope you enjoy what you find in this book, which will help your discoveries sink into your brain and your life. Now you trust yourself, taking in the good helps you see the good in yourself and in the world and other people. Yeah, that is the thing. Actually, I'm very excited about this that people are joining, watching, liking the things, and yeah, performing like I guess doing the same thing as I am doing. So it's very awesome thing that I guess I'm doing. I don't know if it's very useful or others, but somewhere I think about it as yeah, definitely it will like help people as well to grow in their lives as I'm growing in my life. So let's see how it goes and how it works for us. Mhm. I sometimes I just like overwhelmed by the subscriber. Like like for everybody it happens that we want to grow, and if we see something like let's say here I'm seeing if my subscriber get increased or like from these to these it went or not, so it was just making me overwhelmed by that. So it's okay, sometimes it happens, we have to accept it as it is. We are human being. If we are not going to accept ourselves by us, then who is going to accept? So just go ahead and accept yourself. That will make you more like growth. That will make your more growth. Growing good. Going through school, I was a year or two younger than the other kids in my grade. A shy, skinny, nerdy boy with glasses. Nothing awful happened to me, but it felt like I was watching everyone else through a wall of glass. An outsider, ignored, unwanted, put down. My troubles were small compared to those of many other people, but we all have natural needs to feel seen and valued, especially as children. When these needs aren't met, it's like living on a thin soup. You'll survive, but you won't feel fully nourished. For me, it felt like there was an empty place inside, a hole in my heart. But while I was in college, I stumbled on something that seemed remarkable then and still seems remarkable to me now. Some small thing would be happening. It could be a few guys saying, "Come on, let's go get pizza," or young woman smiling at me. Not a big deal, but I found that if I felt the good fact become a good experience, not just an idea, and then stayed with it for at least a few breaths, not brushing it off or moving on fast to something else. It felt like something good was sinking into me, becoming a part of me. In effect, I was taking in the good a dozen seconds at a time. It was quick, easy, and enjoyable, and I started feeling better. In the beginning, the hole in my heart seemed as big as an empty swimming pool, but taking in few experiences, each day of being included, appreciated, or cared about felt like tossing a few buckets of water into the pool, day after day, bucket after bucket, month after month. I was gradually filling that hole in my heart. This practice lifted my mood and made me feel increasingly at ease, cheerful, and confident. Many years later, after becoming a psychologist, I learned why doing this seemingly small practice had made such large difference for me. I'd been weaving inner strengths into the fabric of my brain, my mind, and my life, which is what I mean by hardwiring happiness. Okay. There is one more thing that I was thinking about while reading this paragraph. Sometimes it happens to me that if you are going to accept yourself as it is, then definitely you will literally grow. Why I'm telling this? When earlier I was in front of camera at the time, let's say if I recorded my video and if I'm seeing it, then personally I will feel shamed, like why I'm talking like this, why I'm like this, why I shouldn't be that like that person. But it's not like that. Let's say if someone is watching you, they are not gonna feel anything shamed or something. They will accept you as it is. But the thing is that you are not going to accept yourself as it is because you think something else in your mind that you want to become someone else. So just don't do that. It will not make the things. If you are going to accept yourself as it is, then definitely you will grow in your life. You will be very open to the things. You will not shy from the other things. Why I'm telling this? Because I have personally experienced it now, right now. Like when I started my live streaming, at the time I was not feeling very good. I was very uncomfortable doing live streaming because when I see when I see my videos, I feel very bad that why when I was actually not right now. I feel good now because I accepted myself as it is. I like myself very much because whatever I'm doing, I'm improving, and if I felt something is bad, I'll make it improve. But I will not ashamed of that thing. Like sometimes we being ashamed or something like there is one feeling that come into ourselves when we see ourselves like in videos, or when we listen our voice, or when we see ourselves while saying something to someone, then we feel like we should be some other person, we should be like that, we should be saying something like another person. This is my personal experience that I'm like sharing with you. So we should accept ourselves first And if we are going to accept, then definitely there will be so many chances, like I can say 100% possibility to improve yourself, to change yourself, if you are going to accept. So don't be ashamed. Like I don't know if you are going to be ashamed or not. Like let's say if you recorded yourself and you feel like, oh man, what the heck is doing something like that. So yeah, it's like that feeling I'm talking about. I don't have exact word for that to describe it. So whatever it is, but the thing is that you have to accept whatever it is, and then see yourself how you are going to grow. Because I'm seeing myself how I'm growing, because I have accepted myself as it is. Inner strengths. I have hiked a lot and have often had to depend on what was in my pack. Inner strengths are the supplies you have got in your pack as you make your way down the twisting and often hard road of life. They include a positive mood, common sense, integrity, inner peace, determination, and a warm heart. The researchers have identified other strengths as well, such as self-compassion, secure attachment, emotional intelligence, the learned optimism, the relaxation response, the self-esteem, distress tolerance, self-regulation, resilience, and executive functions. Now, I am using the word strength broadly to include positive feelings such as calm, contentment, and caring, as well as skills, useful perspectives, and inclinations. Embodied qualities such as vitality or relaxation. Unlike fleeting mental states, inner strengths are stable traits, an enduring source of well-being, wise and effective action, and contribution to others. The idea of inner strengths might seem abstract at first. Let's bring it down to earth with some concrete example. The alarm goes off and you would rather snooze. So you find the will to get up. Let's say you have kids and they are squabbling and it's frustrating. So instead of yelling, you get in touch with that place inside that's firm but not angry. You are embarrassed about making a mistake at work. So you call up a sense of warmth from past accomplishments. You get stressed, bracing around. So you find some welcome come in several long exhalations. You feel sad about not having a partner, so you find some comfort in thinking about the friends you do have throughout the day. The other inner strengths are operating automatically in the back of your mind, such as a sense of perspective, faith, or self-awareness. A well-known idea in medicine and psychology is that how you feel and act, both over the course of your life and in specific relationship and situations, is determined by three factors: the challenges you face, the vulnerabilities these challenges grind on, and the strengths you have for meeting your challenges and protecting your vulnerabilities. For example, the challenge of a critical boss would be intensified by a person's vulnerability to anxiety, but he or she could cope by calling on inner strengths of self-soothing and feeling respected by others. Now, we all have vulnerabilities. Personally, I wish it were not so easy for me to become worried and self-critical, and life has no end to challenges, from minor harmless like dropped cell phone calls to old age, disease, and death. You need strength to deal with challenges and vulnerabilities, and as either or both of these grow, so must your strength to match them. If you want to feel less stressed, anxious, frustrated, irritable, depressed, disappointed, lonely, guilty, hurt, or inadequate, having more inner strength will help you. Inner strengths are fundamental to a happy, productive, and loving life. For example, research on just one strength, positive emotions, shows that these reduce activity and stress help heal psychological wounds and improve resilience, well-being, and life satisfaction. Positive emotions encourage the pursuit of opportunities, create positive cycles, and promote success. They also strengthen your immune system and protect your heart and you foster a healthier and longer life. On average, about a third of person's strengths are innate, built into his or her genetically based temperament, talent, mood, and personality. The other two-thirds are developed over time. You get them by growing them. To me, now this is wonderful news since it means now that we can develop the happiness and other inner strengths that foster fulfillment, love, effectiveness, wisdom, and inner peace. Finding out how to grow these strength inside you could be the most important thing you ever learn. Now that's what this book is all about. In the garden, imagine that your mind is like a garden. You could simply be with it, looking at its weeds and flowers without judging or changing anything. Second, you could pull weeds by decreasing what is negative in your mind. Third, you could grow flowers by increasing the positive in your mind. See the box on this page. Now for that I mean by positive and negative. I essence in essence, you can manage your mind in three primary ways. Now, let be, let go, let in. Now, this book is about the third one, the cultivation of inner strengths, growing flowers in the garden of the mind, to help you to do these most effectively. Now, I would like to relate it to the other two ways to approach your mind. By positive and good, I mean what leads to happiness and benefit for oneself and others. Negative and bad mean what leads to suffering and harm. Now I'm being pragmatic here, not moralistic or religious. Positive experiences usually feel good, but some experiences that feel bad have good results. So I'll refer to them as positive. For example, the pain of a hand on a hot stove, the anxiety at not finding your child at a park, and a remorse that help us take the high road make us feel bad now to help us feel better later. Similarly, negative experiences usually feel bad, but some experiences that feel good have bad results, and I'll call this negative. The buzz from three beers or the vengeance in gossiping about someone who wronged you may feel momentarily pleasurable, but this cost overweight and benefits. Overweight and benefits. Experiences like these make us feel good now but worse later. Yeah, that's right. Being with your mind, letting your mind be, simply observing your experience gives you relief and perspective, like stepping out of a movie screen and watching from 20 row back. Letting the stream of consciousness run on its own helps you stop chasing what's pleasant and struggling with what's unpleasant. You can explore your experience with interest and hopefully kindness toward yourself, and perhaps connect with softer, more vulnerable and possibly younger layers in your mind. In the light of an accepting, non reactive awareness, your negative thoughts and feelings can sometimes melt away like morning mist on a sunny day. Working with your mind, but just being with your mind is not enough. You also need to work with it, making wise efforts, pulling weeds and growing flowers. Merely nursing stress, worries, irritability, or blue mood will not accessibly uproot any of this. As we will see in the next chapter, the brain evolved to learn all too well from negative experiences, and it stores them in long-lasting neural structures. Now, does being with your mind by self-growing grow gratitude, enthusiasm, honesty, creativity, or many other inner strengths. Now, these mental qualities are based on underlying neural structures that don't spring into being on their own. Further, to be with your mind fully, you have got to work with it to grow inner strengths such as calm and insight that enable you to feel all your feelings and face your inner shadows even when it's hard. Opening to your experience can feel like opening a trap door to hell. Staying mindful. Whether you staying mindful whether you are letting go or letting in. Be mindful, which simply means staying present moment by moment. Mindfulness itself only witness, but alongside what witnessing could be active, goal directed efforts to nudge your mind one way or another. Working with your mind is not at odds with mindfulness. In fact, you need to work with your mind to build up the inner strengths of mindfulness. Now be mindful of both your outer world and your inner one. Now both the facts around you and how you feel about them. Mindfulness is not just self-awareness. While rock climbing, I have been extremely mindful of my partner belaying me and looking out for me for below. A natural sequence. When something difficult or uncomfortable happens, when a storm comes into your garden, the three ways to engage your mind give you a very useful step-by-step sequence. First, be with your experience. Observe it and accept it for what it is, even if it's painful. Second, when it feels right, which could be a matter of seconds with a familiar worry, or a matter of months or years with the loss of a loved one. Begin letting go of whatever is negative. For example, relax your body to reduce tension. Third, again, when it feels right, after you have released some or all of what was negative, replace it with something positive. For instance, you could remember what it's like to be with someone who appreciates you, and then stay with this experience for 10 or 20 seconds. Besides feeling good in the moment, this third step will have lasting benefits. For when you take in positive experiences, are not only growing flowers in your mind, you are growing new neural circuits in your brain. You are hardwiring happiness. Experience dependent neuroplasticity. The brain is the organ that learns, so it is designed to be changed by your experiences. It still amazes me, but it's true. Whatever we repeatedly sense and feel and think is slowly but surely a sculpting neural structure. As you read these in the 5 cups of tofu like tissue inside your head, nested amid a trillion support cells, 80 to 100 billion neurons are signaling one another in a network with about half a quadrillion connections called synapses. All these incredibly fast, complex, and dynamic neural activity is continually changing your brain. New synapses become more sensitive. New synapses start growing within minutes. Busy regions get more blood since they need more oxygen and glucose to their work, and genes inside neurons turn on or off. Meanwhile, less active connections either in a process sometimes called neural Darwinism. Now, the survival of the busiest. all mental activity all mental activity, sights and sounds, thoughts and feelings, conscious and conscious process is based on underlying neural activity. Much mental and therefore neural activity flows through the brain like ripples on a river, with no lasting effect on its channel, but intense, prolonged or repeated mental neural activity, especially if it is conscious, will leave an enduring imprint in neural structure like surging current reshaping a riverbed. As they say in neuroscience, neurons that wire together, mental states become neural traits. Day after day, your mind is building your brain. This is what scientists call experience dependent neuroplasticity, which is a hot area of research these days. For example, London taxi drivers memorizing the city's spaghetti snarl of streets have thickened neural layers in their hippocampus, the region that helps make visual spatial memories, as if they were building a muscle. These drivers worked a part of their brain and grew new tissues there. Now, moving from the cap to the cushion, mindfulness meditators have increased gray matter, which means a thicker cortex in key regions, prefrontal areas behind the forehead that control attention, the insula which we use for running into ourselves and others, and hippocampus. Your experiences don't just grow new synapses, remarkable as that is by itself, but also somehow reach down into your genes, into little strips of atoms in the twisted molecules of DNA inside the nuclei of neurons and change how they operate. For instance, if you routinely practice relaxation, this will increase the activity of genes that calm down stress reactions, making you more resilient. Changing the brain for the better. If you step back from the details of these studies, one simple truth stands out. Your experiences matter not just for how they feel in the moment, but for the lasting traces they leave in your brain. Your experiences of happiness, worry, love, and anxiety can make real changes in your neural networks. The structure building processes of the neurons nervous system are turbocharged by conscious experience, and especially by what is in the foreground of your awareness. Your attention is like a combination spotlight and vacuum cleaner. It highlights what it lands on and then sucks it into your brain. For better or worse, there is a traditional saying that the mind takes its shape from what it rests upon. Based on what we have learned about experience dependent neuroplasticity, modern version would be to say that the brain takes its shape from what the mind rests upon. If you keep resting your mind on self criticism, worries, grumbling about others, hurts, and stress, then your brain will be shaped into greater reactivity, vulnerability to anxiety, and depressed mood. A narrow focus on threats and losses and inclination toward anger, sadness, and guilt. On the other hand, if you keep resting your mind on good events and conditions, someone was nice to you, there is a roof over your head, pleasant feelings, the things you do get done, physical pleasure, and and your good intentions and qualities, then your over time your brain will take a different shape, one with strengths and resilience hardwired into it, as well as a realistically optimistic outlook, a positive mood, and a sense of worth. Looking back over the past week or so, where has your mind been mainly resting? In effect, what you pay attention In effect, what you pay attention to, now what you rest your mind on, is the primary shaper of your brain. Now, while some things naturally grab a person's attention, such as a problem at work, or physical pain, or a serious worry, on the whole, you have a lot of influence over where your mind rests. This means that you can deliberately prolong and even create the experiences that will shape your brain for the better. Now I'll show you now how to do these in detail beginning in chapter 4. Meanwhile, feel free to start taking in the good right now. Now this practice applied to a positive experience boils down just for four words. Have it, enjoy it, and see for yourself what happens when you do. The experiences that serve you most, contemplating your mental garden these days, which flowers would be good to grow. Certain kinds of experiences will help you more than others will. A negative experiences might have value for a person. For instance, working the graveyard shift in a bottling plant one summer while in college toughened me up. But negative experiences have inherent negative side effects such as psychological discomfort or the health consequences of stress. They can also create or worsen conflicts with others. When my wife and I were tired and frazzled raising two young children, we snapped at each other more often. The cost of negative experience routinely overweigh their benefits, and often there is no benefit at all, just pain with no gain. Since neurons that wire together, staying with a negative experience past the point that's useful is like running laps in hell. You dig the track a little deeper in your brain each time you go around it. Now, on the other hand, positive experiences always have gain and rarely have pain. They usually feel good in the moment. Additionally, the most direct way to grow inner strengths such as determination, sense of perspective, positive emotions, and compassion is to have experiences of them in the first place. If you want to develop more gratitude, keep resting your mind on feeling thankful. If you want to feel more loved, look for and stay with experiences in which you feel included, seen, appreciated, liked, or cherished. The answer to the question of how to grow good things inside your mind is this. Take an experience of them. This will weave them into your brain, building up their neural circuits, so you can take them with you wherever you go. Thank you very much, whoever is watching, and very appreciated being in live streaming because it's very awesome while reading with you. It will grow me as well as you. I don't know about it that it definitely will grow if you are going to listen it, because whatever we listens, our brain, our subconscious mind literally listen that and acts on it. So thank you very much being here. Let's read ahead. On the other hand, positive experiences always have gain and rarely have pain. They usually feel good in the moment. Additionally, the most direct way to grow inner strengths such as determination, a sense of perspective. I read it actually, but let me read it again. Perspective, positive emotions, and compassion is to have experiences of them in the first place. If you want to develop more gratitude, keep resting your mind on feeling thankful. If you want to feel more loved, look for and stay with experiences in which you feel included, seen, appreciated, liked, or cherished. The answer to the question of how to grow good things inside your mind is this. Take in experiences of them. This will weave them into your brain, building up their neural circuits, so you can take them with you wherever you go. Besides growing specific inner strengths of for yourself, taking in the good has built-in general benefits such as being active rather than passive, treating yourself as if you matter and strengthening your attention. Additionally, as we'll see in chapter 3, over time you can gradually sensitize your brain to positive experiences, so they become inner strengths more quickly and easily. Self-directed neuroplasticity. A neurologist friend of mine once described the brain as 3 pounds of a tapioca. You can listen its pronunciation because I will not be able to listen it. I checked yesterday that when I run this, tapioca, you will be able to listen it, not me. Tapioca. So tapioca. Now I didn't hear it, but I like played it for you that you can listen it as well. Pudding. Pudding. Pounds of tapioca pudding. It looks like a gooey. It looks like a gooey, unimpressive blob, but it's the master organ of the body and primary internal source of your well-being, everyday effectiveness, psychological healing, personal growth, creativity, and success. Whether you feel angry or at ease, frustrated or fulfilled, lonely or loved depends on your neural networks. Further, how brains interact is the basis of fulfilling relationships, successful organizations, thriving nations, and ultimately whether we live in a peaceful and sustainably prosperous world. The science of experience dependent neuroplasticity shows that each person has the power to change his or her brain for the better, what Jeffrey Schwartz has called self-directed neuroplasticity. If you don't make use of this power yourself, other forces will shape your brain for you, including pressures at work and home, technology and media, pushy people, the lingering effects of painful past experiences, and as we will see in the next chapter, Mother Nature herself. There is one thing I literally noticed here, that I do believe in our brain, our subconscious mind, that it literally grows. Whatever we are going to feed it, it will like grow it eventually. So if you are not going to work on your brain, then definitely you are able to see it, and it's excellent connection, and we are live again. So let's start. speaking whatever we were speaking. So what happens when you don't work on your brain? There are people around you, there are situations around you that will force you to develop the brain in that way. Whatever you are getting influenced by, your experiences that will form your brain from your brain plasticity. So instead of letting people do it for you, just do it for yourself by you. Like what I'm trying to say here is, if you are not going to work on your brain, then definitely there will be people who is going to work for you on your brain unknowingly, and that will not be good, because they are not going to work on your brain just for you. They will work for on your brain for themselves. So try not letting people work for you, because it's very essential. If you are going to work on your brain, then definitely something positive will happen in your life. But let's say if you are getting influenced by some other persons, like let's say if you are in corporate and you are working, and if your manager or whoever is senior forcing you to do the things, and it is making you anxious, it is making you frustrated, so eventually the experience is bad, and that bad experience is written down on your subconscious mind, which is not good. Eventually its effect will not be good. You will feel anxious after certain period of time in the sense, let's say if you are talking to someone and they said something, then might be you will scold on them. It happens. I have seen lots of people like this. Eventually they they behave in automatic way, because there were some of the experiences they had it very regularly. They get influenced by that again and again, because of which right now they are on autopilot, because something happened, something triggered, something cue happened. By seeing that, our neurons get triggered, and we fall into our automatic behaviors, system behaviors. So try working on your brains. It will really help you, it will grow you. Like I'm growing, like personally I feel that if I'm reading, I'm growing. So if you're listening, definitely there is some information going into your brain, and your subconscious mind is listening, and eventually if you listen it again and again, then there will be time your subconscious mind will work on that. So start working on your brain, listen to the things which is good, positive, and see yourself how you are going to grow. So let's read ahead what we have. The science of experience dependent neuroplasticity shows that each person has the power to change his or her brain for the better. What Jeffrey Schwartz, oh, we read it actually. On the other hand, in quick, easy, enjoyable ways, right in the flow of your day, you can use the power of self-directed neuroplasticity to build up a lasting sense of ease, confidence, self-acceptance, kindness, feeling, loved, contentment, and inner peace. In essence, what you will do with the practice is, this book is simple. Turn everyday good experiences into good neural structure. Putting it more technically, you will activate mental states and then install them as neural traits. Now, when you need them, you will be able to draw on these neural traits, which are your inner strengths. The good growing in your mind. You will be using your mind to change your brain, to change your mind for the better. Now, bit by bit, synapse by synapse, you really can build the happiness into your brain. And by doing this, you will be overcoming its negativity bias. The brain is good at learning from bad experiences, but bad at learning from good ones. As you'll see in the next chapter, if the mind is like a garden, the soil of your brain is more fertile for weeds than for flowers. So it's really more important to plant seeds of inner strengths by repeatedly taking in the good. Here there is one thing that author had said, that our brain is literally vulnerable to bad negative experiences. But I would like to say that as here it is giving the example of wheat that grows on garden, if even if we didn't cultivate it, because these weeds spread all over the places, and whatever we cultivate, let's say it's like some kind of food or flowers. It is not growing anywhere because people are utilizing it. Like, let's say if you have some flower, a tree, or likewise, you will conserve that. You will not let it flow here and there. So if it is not going here and there, it's like seeds and all, then how it will grow? So we have to bring that seeds and sow, bow, so that we can get its fruits. So eventually what I'm trying to say, weeds no one use, so it is just getting here and there spread it. So let's say if someone is talking something, if they get frustrated, they just spread the things and it gets spread, and if we listen it, then it we get that bad experience. So like, positive experiences we don't get because people don't share it usually. That's the thing. mm, Let me continue reading. I'm just checking the things here on my live streaming, how many people joined or whoever is listening to me right now. Very welcome to my live streaming. If you are new here, the one person joined, I'll read this, and if I will have some thoughts, I will share with you, because people like to listen to thoughts. It grows a person, and that's very awesome. So let's see how it is. A person's inner strength include peacefulness, contentment, and love, as well as resilience, confidence, determination, and insight. These strengths may help you cope with the hard things in life, recover from stress, heal old pain, maintain your well-being, get things done at home and work, and be patient and caring toward others. Most of your inner strengths are developed over time, and this book is about growing inner strengths through positive experiences, which is hardwiring happiness. Simply observing your mind is extremely useful, but you also need to decrease what's negative and increase what's positive. My focus is on increasing the positive, growing flowers in the garden of the mind, which means changing the structure of your brain. All mental activity, sights and sounds, joys and sorrows, is based on underlying neural activity. Repeated mental or neural activity leaves lasting changes in neural structure. Now, what is called experience dependent neuroplasticity. Now, this means you can use your mind to change your brain, to change your mind for the better. The best way to develop the best way to develop greater happiness and other inner strengths is to have experiences of them, and they help these good mental states become good neural traits. Is This is taking in the good, activating a positive experience and installing it in your brain, and that's awesome. Like, we have almost completed in first chapter we have completed our introduction chapter, because it's a very interesting book, because we have already read some other books related to brain. So the information, the knowledge that we gathered from those books, now it is useful here. The points are getting connected. Earlier, whatever the point I had, those points are getting connected here. So as I told you earlier, if I'm going to read this book as it is, I'm not going to trying to understand it as much as possible. I will just read flawlessly, so that when I'm going to read next, I will be able to get as it is, which I'm experiencing right away. Like earlier, we read another books, and just because of that other books, right now we are getting most of the things from these books, because some of the things are similar from this book to others. So that is the thing. Let me read Vegro. I'll read some of the things and we'll discuss some of the thing if I get something into my brain, because we have 7 minutes to left now for our live streaming to end, and after that I'm going to end the live streaming, and that will be awesome for today. Like, it was very nice live streaming. Besides that, now I'm working on editing skill, which is a challenge. I will streamline it somehow, because there were some of the things that I was not getting, like how can I represent my editing challenge, that I was not getting. But anyway, that's the part of editing challenge. I will speak there But here I have to speak completely about reading challenge. So let's read it. More than 20 years ago, in neuroscience class for psychologists, the professor walked in with a larger bucket, put on a pair of yellow rubber gloves, and with a flourish pulled out the preserved human brain. It looked like a small, spongy, yellowish cauliflower. As the professor droned on about it, I had a weirdly dislocating experience. A thing like the one in his hand over there was also in here, inside my head, trying to make sense of what he was holding. It really hit me that this uh, unimpressive looking thing was actually producing the sight of the bucket, the sound of the teacher, and my feelings of both you and awe. Oh. Every pleasure and pain I had, every love and loss was the result of activity within this glistening blob of flesh. My brain was the final common pathway of all the causes, as streaming through me to make each moment of consciousness. People have long asked why we are glad or sad, why we help or hurt each other. Sages and scientists have explored the mental causes of happiness and suffering. Now, for the first time in history, we can ask ourselves what are the underlying neural causes of these causes and why, and we can find answers in the structure and process of the human brain as it has been shaped by evolution. The brain didn't spring into being overnight. It acquired its capabilities and tendencies over hundreds of millions of years, and the factors that shaped this long, impersonal history shows up in your life today in very personal ways. Suppose you got 20 things done today and made one mistake. What's likely to stick with you as you are falling asleep? Probably the mistake, even though it was just a small part of your day. As you'll see, the reason for this is found in the brain's evolution. By learning how your brain has been built over time, you will understand yourself and others better. Plus, you will become more effective at using and shaping that blobby cauliflower like extraordinary thing inside your own head, the evolving brain. Every human being shares common ancestors with bats, begonias. Begonias. You can listen its pronunciation because I won't be able to listen it because it's connected to my MacBook Pro and I am not getting weight. How can
Begonias.
begonias, begonias, and bacteria that go back at least 3.5 billion years to the very first microorganism. Multi-celled creatures emerged in the ancient seas 650 million years ago, and after 50 millions more years, they would grow complicated enough that they began to develop a nervous system to coordinate their sensory and motor systems. Mammals arose about 200 million years ago, and the first primates about 16 million years ago. By 2.5 million years ago, our hominid ancestor, Homo habilis, was intelligent enough to begin making stone tools, and our own species, Homo sapiens, the clever ape, emerged about 200,000 years ago. Over the last 600 million years, solution to survival problems faced by creatures ranging from jellyfish and clams to lizards, mice, monkeys, and early humans have gotten built into the evolving nervous system. The brain has roughly tripled in volume over the past several million years while being carved by the intense pressure of neural selections. Our hominid and human predecessors lived in small hunting and gathering bands until organized farming began about 10,000 years ago. Their world was pristine and beautiful, and there was a simplicity and easygoing pace and a time for relationships that many long for today. So I guess that's all for today. We have read the book Hardwiring Happiness. With earlier we were reading the book name Insights, Mindsights actually, not Insight. So Mindsight book was also completely related to our brain, how we can shape our brain's plasticity, how we can use it so that we can get most of the things from our brain itself. That was we read in our Mindsight book. But in this Hardwiring Happiness book also we have the same thing that was in Mindsight book. So I would really like to prefer this book instead of going Why We Sleep, as I told earlier that we are going to read Why We Sleep book. But let's read this book as we read it, but I'll start it read again tomorrow from introduction, so that whoever is joining they will know that what we are reading, the mind no I said Hardwiring Happiness. So let's see how it goes, and if it feels literally damn good, then definitely we are growing. Yeah, definitely we are going. We will grow actually, because whatever we are going to read, our subconscious mind will listen it and will act on it. So that is the thing. We are going to grow, and it's time to wrap up the things. Thank you very much being here, being in my live streaming. I can see one person who is like watching me. So thank you very much being in my live streaming. If you have any feedback, you can comment down or have a chat. So that's all for today, for today's live streaming. And again, it is very awesome day. One thing that I want to tell you before ending this, that please observe your mind. Like whatever you feel, whatever you experience, just separate yourself from you and see as a third person or second person as you are getting your like feelings. If it's bad feeling, you'll get to know what it is if you observe it. So try doing it. And thank you very much. Bye bye. I'm ending this live streaming.